All right, now an update on what's going on over in the futures market. We started out with about a 7-cent lower trend in the corn market here this morning. And on the overnight, we were at least a half to 3/4 of a cent lower. So we've expanded on that just a little bit. On the market right now, on these futures provided by Bar Chart, we've backed off of that. 685 3/4. Now we're down 3 cents a bushel. And that's the July contract. December is down just a half. So we went down and made some lows here and then come off of those. July, soybeans now up 10, 15.58 and a half. And that new crop November is up 16 cents. Now the wheat market, it was a little bit stronger last night on the overnight trade. Chicago wheat started out weaker at the open, but now July Chicago is up 3.5 cents. It's trading at 6.97. July Kansas City wheat is up 5.5 pennies. It's trading at 6.43. Current trade in the Minneapolis market, July is up 22 at 793.5. July cotton down 17 at 84.08. Well, let's go over here and visit with Brian Hoops. He is with Midwest Market Solutions. Brian, a little bit of a rebound over here in these markets. So what's leading it? Because soybeans certainly didn't waste any time getting back in here to double digits.
Yeah, good morning, John. You know, what I think is really leading this market higher is actually the bean oil market. We're up near some of these old highs that we've been posting. The crush report that came out yesterday afternoon, pretty friendly for soybean oil. We're seeing a lot of spreading against soybean meals. The report was negative, and soybeans have caught a bid in relationship to the oil, I think, this morning. But really, the bean oil been the strongest market, along with Minneapolis wheat trading above the $8 mark in the new crop September contract. Some big gains there. The crop condition ratings fell to 43% good to excellent. That is the second worst rating in history. And the forecast doesn't look very good for the spring wheat belt as far as improving those ratings. You know, it's going to be very hot. It's going to be very windy, drying soils out even further. So even if they get a couple tenths of rain that they're forecast to, it's not going to be lasting very long or being that beneficial to the crop. So the spring wheat crops, I think, struggling. The market is recognizing that and dragging Chicago, Kansas City along with it.
So what do you think, Brian? Do you think the trade will look at the condition and watch that spring wheat market and kind of give a barometer or a bellwether as to what the corn market or what the corn crop in that area could also look like and become as well?
I think it's certainly possible. You know, you've got a drought already in parts of North Dakota, and you know, you can't grow anything there during a drought. Even, you know, spring wheat won't grow, corn, soybeans. Even if you try and plant something else, you still have to have moisture to make it grow. So that area certainly bears watching, no matter what is being grown there. But you know, the corn conditions came in higher than expected. And there's a lot of talk that maybe these ratings will be the highest of the year. The forecast doesn't bode well to keep improving those ratings. So it's certainly possible the corn's going to catch a bid in here. In fact, it has compared to its overnight lows. I
do want to touch on the peanut planting progress as well as the grain sorghum planting progress here before we go to the break. Over in the peanuts, the latest results from USDA and the National Ag Statistics Service says that Georgia has 83% of their crop in the ground. Anywhere from 70 to 80% of that crop is planted. Then on to the grain sorghum, or also known as milo. Texas 85, Oklahoma 37, Kansas only 18%, but Nebraska's 58% planted. More is coming up. Stay with us. We'll be back with Brian right after this, right here on the Market Day Report. We're in the middle of a conversation with Brian Hoops with Midwest Market Solutions. Brian, what are you hearing for this cash cattle trade so far this week?
Well, we are not hearing really any bids developing yet. The asking price is probably in that 120 range, and that may be hard to get. Show list numbers are a little bit larger compared to a week ago. Not significantly, but you know, about 1,900 heads. So cash calls are kind of slower this morning, $1 to $2 lower. June cattle options expire Friday. First notice day for June is next Monday. So all this news with the JBS reopening is positive here and should help our cash markets out. But I think the cash is coming in lower this week because we're backing up a little bit of cattle, probably 35,000, 40,000 head.
Well, you mentioned that June fat contract. It is up $1.55 right now, and the bid here is 115.10. The August is up 102. at now just changing now 97 higher at 117.57. But those foreign deferreds of December and February are actually a little bit weaker here at this juncture. August feeder cattle up 15 at 149.30. September up 22. October's up 17. This feeder cattle market's pretty quiet so far.
Yeah, it has been. The calls this morning were a little bit softer, but cattle came out of the gate stronger, led by the June contract. We're seeing some spread trade with the deferred live cattle lower. But feeder cattle really are kind of caught in between. Not sure if they should rally along with the cattle and corn prices being lower. But, they're kind of just a choppy, very low volume type affair so far in this early trade.
All right. Well, let's talk about this hog market here this morning that got off to a weaker start. We've got June down 82, July down 72 at 118.92, the August down 85, now 80 at 116.77. A little bit of a pullback here. Is it warranted after the gains that we've seen here lately when you go back and you look at what we've done on the chart?
Yeah, yesterday's pretty impressive performance, contract highs in these hog markets. We, July and August, unable to take out yesterday's highs, and I think once that developed, market momentum kind of started to turn a little softer and profit-taking started to develop. So it's just kind of an inside day compared to yesterday's trading range, and I think the market's still fairly strong in here. Just a little bit of weakness because of some profit taking, and feels like a turnaround Tuesday, even though it's a Wednesday.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you very much. Always appreciate it there, Brian. Brian Hoops, Midwest Market Solutions. Let's check the financial market. Dow Jones Industrial Average up 109 points, 34,655. Janet, there you go. Back to you.